Hey, this is Brad from Needless to Say. Sticks and stones may break my bones, but whips and chains excite me. Licks and moans, guests on the phones, I wish Lily and Shade would invite me. Daddy issues. Yeah, admit it. It got you hard. Right here on the Damaged Goods Network.
Hey, this is Craig from Needless to Say. If you're looking for a girl to politely tell you to put a bag over your head, Shade's got you covered right here on Daddy Issues. Only on the Damaged Goods Network.
Welcome to Daddy Issues.
Yeah,
okay,
well,
because
this
one I got busted, but I still made it.
I go full trailer park.
Hello and welcome. It could have been better as a porn.
Let's go back to the hose.
That's weird.
I don't know. She seems like a right nut. I'm not gonna lie. Like, she does. Like, anybody,
Pardon me.
popped it back in there. Hope he has SARS.
Oh, fuck. I can't believe you've done this.
Would you be comfortable sharing with us the name of the hotel you stayed in last night?
Well, look who skipped their meds today. And then it was just like, I should drink less.
I got all these daddy issues.
Oh shit, I forgot my headphones.
You're like,
Hold on a second, baby. Okay, say something.
Can you hear me?
There we go. Yes.
Yay! You're lighting a candle? I lit a candle.
Yeah.
We're fucking kindred. Look. Dude, okay over there?
Yeah.
Okay. So, new fucking show. I'm excited.
Yeah, me too. Like, you know, it's a shame that we didn't get as a guest for last season. Brandy from the YouTube channel, which if you haven't watched her, you should, because she's fucking hilarious. You should definitely check it out in your spare time. All she does, she's got a YouTube channel, and she eats a ton of edibles and then tries to do makeup tutorials, and it's fucking hilarious.
Oh my God. I need a link. I'm going to need a link for that.
Yeah, let me pull one up for you right quick. Actually, I do it on my phone. It's faster.
Yeah, buddy.
Shut up, Nugget. What are you even barking at?
So, what was I going to say? My coffee is just about hitting my veins, so bear with me.
What tutorial should I send you as your first,
Wherever you think you laughed the most.
I laughed the most at all of them. I'm going to send you
I'm wondering
her
if this
tutorial.
Is she on Facebook or Twitter or where?
She's got to be. I've only seen her on YouTube.
Okay.
Here is a link to her tutorial, and if you're high, go ahead and pop it on. You'll love it.
Okay.
On how to reinvent yourself as a snowman.
Oh my fucking God. I can't even, I'm just, wow. Like, that bitch has some shit happening on her face. It looks like she pied herself.
She fucking, I think she used like some shaving cream to make some fluffy snow, and like I said, you've got to watch it. You'll be crying laughing.
She's like the Bob Ross of stoners for makeup.
Dude, she was like, I don't have a round thing, so I got a box for my head, and it's just a regular box, and she cut like this round hole that would be like, so it's like, yeah, it's like my face is round, and then like stuck a head on top. Oh my God.
Oh my God. You know, okay, so they're bringing edibles to our dispensary. I just got a little thing in my bag about it, and I was like, okay, tell me more. And they were like, well, this one's gonna be fire. And I was like, it's like a brick, and it looks like hash. It doesn't even look like it's food. But it isn't just straight hash, obviously. It's inedible, but
is it like a cake of some sort?
Like a cake, and it's got like, you can get different ones, and they have like different strengths or whatever. And I was like, this is gonna be hard for me. I'm just gonna go straight to intensity.
That reminds me.
What?
I need to get some more cake. Our dealers carry our weed man's carrying edibles now.
See, isn't that great? You know what I like about edibles? They don't ever they just like hug you. Like they're just with you for a minute. And I've had shitty edibles and I've had good ones. Like I had some cookies that were pretty fucking good, and then I've had some cookies that were like, I don't feel anything.
Yeah.
So I think
I think it depends, because I know they make edibles that just is CBD. And some, which the last edibles I got before the cake that my guy is selling were CBD, so I didn't feel anything.
Are they made with that? What was that strain you'd been smoking for the longest time? Star Dog?
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know what
that
strain
would be
they're made from.
Crazy. I would ask.
I'm still getting the Star Dog. I'm smoking Fruity Pebbles in the daytime right now, and then Star Dog in the evening when I'm ready to wind down. You know,
I'm on the train wreck today.
Nice.
Yeah.
I got that cake, and because the last ones were CBD, I just went ahead and ate a whole piece, and like 20 minutes later, I was asleep. And you're like.
See, that's the thing with edibles. You're like, I don't feel anything, and then you're like. I'll tell you. Did I ever tell you my first story with edibles? It's the only really good story I have.
No, go for it.
Okay, so it was Christmas time, and I was just like a new stoner. Like I was new to being cool, like everybody else. I just crushed my body with the horse, so like I was looking for something other than pain pills because. That sucks. Yeah. So my friend was like, well, I made some brownies, but these gingerbread cookies are way awesome. And so I did what everybody does. I took a bite and I ate one because I couldn't taste anything in it, you know? Yeah. So I was like, all right.
You can't. Yeah.
Right. So I tasted it and I was like, nothing. And an hour later, I was like, I feel just a little relaxed, like not any, I don't know what I was expecting, right? And then I ate two more and I never made it home. I never fucking made it home. Nope, didn't make it home. No. Don't even know if I called to tell anyone I wasn't coming home because I was too busy talking about the elephants in the room, and not like as a euphemism for something. Like I thought elephants were in the room, as in I felt like I was probably tripping. That's how high I was. Which I don't think is a normal thing, by the way. That must have been some really good shit. But she really should open a bakery. Just saying.
Yeah, she totally should. She needs to open a bakery.
Yeah. Well, it's definitely not legal in her state. Texas is going to be the last one to come around.
Which is surprising to me. Because Texas is usually it does. It's surprising to me because I'm being from Texas. Texas is usually the state that's like, I don't give a shit what the federal government's doing. Everybody just do whatever you want to do.
The Republic of Texas.
You just do your shit.
Yeah.
Yeah. You just do your shit. You just live your life and don't cause any trouble and don't start nothing, won't be nothing.
You know, it's really true though, because it's like there are so many crazy laws in Texas. I was like, is this really a law? But dude, go on.
One of the strip clubs once had, when I first started dancing, I had to go a town over because there weren't any clubs because the town I lived in was a dry county.
Oh no!
So I had to go.
Would you live in Arlington? Like what the fuck?
No, I live. No, is Arlington dry? Is it?
Or it was.
Wow, no wonder people from Arlington are such a pain in the ass when they come into Dallas.
Dude, they all suck. They're all angry. Yeah. You know what? It's like the closest. They have to drive to Fort Worth to get drunk.
Yeah, I'd be angry if I had to go to Fort Worth for any reason.
Thank you. I feel like Fort Worth, and anybody who's listening to this can fucking suck my dick if you don't agree. I'm a Findom now. Like, seriously, you drive in, and I'm not kidding, windows up, I'm driving through the city, and it smells like fucking pork rinds and broken dreams, and I'm not kidding.
No, and like when I first moved to that area, you know, for a lot of the suburbs of Dallas... I mean, you can tell the crossover a bit, but not right away.
No.
You know, with Fort Worth, as soon as you cross that line, you're like,
whoa,
fuck, we're in Fort Worth.
You know,
Get
and
outta here.
Fort Worth
Turn
is
around.
what every fucking person who doesn't live in Texas thinks Texas is. They're like, Buckle Bunny, got my boots from, no. First of all, the stockyards is like where men go to get drunk and beat their women. And then they ride some ponies that they abuse during the day. Oh, I'm really getting points for this. I know I am. Because, like, nobody gets more irked than horse people. Like, we're the most uppity
Horse
people.
people are insane. Yeah.
They're the most uppity. Honestly, that's why I don't show anymore. Not that I did Western showing, but, like, I'm just saying, like, their sticks are so far up their asses, it's like they're fucking puppets, and you're just... So, anyway, long story short, I can't even believe we haven't talked about our Texas experiences, because we just tapped into something there, because legit, it's very unique that you live where you live, I live where I live, neither of us still live in Texas, but we still have plenty of Texas stories about Texas. Like,
oh, God, yeah.
I don't know. I'll give you an example. One of the things I don't miss about Texas, the toll roads, because you can't go anywhere without them now. Anywhere.
Really?
Yes, it's horrific. And they'll take your car. They'll pull you over. They've got the police in on it, and they'll tow your car if you haven't paid your bill. Assholes.
Yeah, it was when I lived in Dallas. It was all the game of how do we avoid the fucking George Bush?
Thank you.
Fucking toll road.
They have superimposed.
And it always starts on 635. What you want to do if you want to avoid that toll roll? You got to go down 635 north. Right, you're gonna go about 10 miles.
Like, I'm just like, yes, miles. I've done this. Have you ever? Okay. There were a couple times I got desperate and I was like, all right, I am going to go South Dallas to get around this mess. And you only take 20 if you're taking your life in your hands at the same time. Like, it is just
bless your heart.
Yeah, it's a straight.
That was like my hood.
See, I knew you were going to say that. Would you fucking live up in DeSoto? Where were you?
I'll tell you what, I'll go one better. I worked several bars on Harry Hines.
Oh, you did not. You dirty girl.
Harry Hines, bro. They're not dirty. They're not dirty. Like, when you actually work there, they're the best clubs to work in Dallas. And here is why. I would go and work at high-end clubs, and I would stay at a high-end club for, 3-4 months, 6 months at the most, not long. Because at the high-end clubs, they have so many fucking rules, and the clientele are the most obnoxious, rich assholes. And I just can't tolerate them. And so I'd go and work in some ghetto club.
Oh my God.
For a while.
Did you ever work in Pantera?
Are you talking about the clubhouse?
Yes.
Yeah, I worked at the clubhouse.
Oh my God.
I worked at the clubhouse at the same time Masumi Max worked at the clubhouse. But I did not know Masumi Max. We were not friends because the
we
clubhouse,
were not friends.
We weren't. Like, I mean, you don't make it's like 80 to 100 girls on shift. Jesus. And it's like there'd be like my 2 or 3 people that I was tight with, and then everybody else was practically a stranger.
I bartended in a strip club, not in Dallas.
Which one?
No, well, it was the Oasis in Georgia. So shout out to my girls. Your dead mother's up in here. But like, we had a lot less. I guess we were way smaller. I don't know that there were that many people on staff.
Yeah, but Texas, you have to understand, Texas strip clubs,
that's a thing,
are part of the culture.
It is. It is part of the culture. And I will say, to me, Texas strip clubs have, no pun intended, they have the tits over everyone. Like,
our clubs are the best clubs.
I agree.
I danced all over that country and never found better clubs, even the ghetto clubs.
I've only been to one ghetto club, and it was the Claremont Lounge in Atlanta.
I've never heard of that one.
It's they have bullet wound whores there. Like we're not even talking strippers. We're talking she's working the clients and has got some shots up in here.
Yeah. See, if you are in a Texas strip club, if you're a prostitute and you're like, I'm going to go and try to get some clients and work at this strip club,
You lose your job.
the dancers will run you out.
Yeah.
Within like you won't last 2 days.
Yeah,
Like,
no, they're
dancers run
the
you
thing
out.
about strippers that I learned really quickly is they're still as clicky. It's just this is the click, and I actually I don't know how often people say this. You probably got along with most of them. I got along with pretty much all of them.
Yeah.
Everybody was really chill.
In the 10 years I was dancing, I never had an enemy at any club I worked at.
Yeah, and like I couldn't dance for a lot of reasons. I didn't have the stamina.
Well, there's rules. As long as you follow the fucking basic rules of behavior when you're a dancer, you're not going to have a problem.
Right.
You're not going to go in and start stripping and have a problem unless you start a problem.
Right.
You know? Because we're all there to make money.
Yeah.
So, it's
and
simple. Like the one that's been there the longest, the veteran dancer, every club has one that's worked there forever.
Yep.
Her spot in the dressing room, don't fuck with it.
Nope.
Don't fuck with it.
Don't shit where
Just
you
let her
eat
have her
either.
space.
That's
Find
the
another
other thing.
space. She's been there like a decade. Let her have that spot.
Right.
Don't fuck with anybody's regular customers.
Yep.
Other than that, if you can just do that, if you can just do those things.
Well, I saw, and like I said, I wasn't a dancer, but I saw this between the girls. They would even help each other out. Like, if there was a guy that one girl wasn't really didn't even really want to dance for, they would swoop in and the other one would take it and be like, I don't fucking care. But they weren't sleeping with the clients. They weren't. None of them. I don't know if anybody listening will believe me when I say this, but let me tell you, I was a bartender. I have no dog in the fight here. I wasn't stripping. It's not like I'm hiding my own history. It's really true. They weren't fucking.
We don't.
Yeah, they weren't. And I think that was the most eye-opening thing to me as a green person going into that area is I just didn't know. And not that I had I clearly wasn't judging it because I was signing up for the job anyway. I'll work around these chicks hooking men. I don't care. But I realized really quickly it's not about that at all. It's literally just like any other form of entertainment. It's just not a movie.
Yeah, exactly.
So, and they're really personalized. They're some girls had their own vibe and guys would come in for that. And then there were some girls that were really personable and then some girls that were cold as fuck and guys came in for that.
Yeah.
There was one girl, I don't really she went by Bambi of all things. I'm not even kidding about that. But she was rough. She was a rough chick to be called Bambi. Had probably shot someone and I wouldn't have been surprised.
Dude, I'm telling you, every stripper I've ever met that has had a stereotypical name like Bambi or Cherry or any of that has been a rough ass biker.
Really?
Every single one of them.
Okay.
Every one of them.
Okay.
Yeah. And Cheyenne, that's one too.
We had a Cheyenne, but she left almost as quickly as I started working there. Not because I was working there, but she was leaving at the time. But she was a teeny little thing. I don't know if she was rough or not, but she was teeny.
They're always insane. Cheyennes are always insane, guaranteed.
I have never, I'll say this, outside of the strip club world, I've never met a Cheyenne that we were friends. We have nothing in common.
I got a story for you. Okay. The Cheyenne that I worked for a time at this one club called, oh shit, what was it called? Tattletales.
I think you've told me about this club before.
It was the biker club that I told you about, where they beat the shit out of a cop that came in and tried to bust the club, and the bouncer kicked the fuck out of him and threw him out.
Holy shit.
I was on stage for that one. It was great. And then I got this old guy came up and tipped me and was like, I really appreciated that you didn't stop dancing when all that kicked off. That's very professional.
She's like, yeah, you are. You really are. You're still running with the game. Tits out. Let's go.
It ain't the first time I'm watching somebody get their ass kicked. I'm in the middle of the song here. But yeah, it was a rough as fuck biker bar. And we had a Cheyenne there. And this Cheyenne gets pulled over. And they're like, okay, you're under the influence, clearly. So, we're going to arrest you. And she just starts naming names. She's like, oh, no, I can give you, let me go and I'll tell you about me, Lily Bongwater. I work with her and she does lots of drugs. So you should let me go and go arrest her. Little did she know the cop that she was trying to narc me out on was dating my mother. So they arrested her. Then came to the hotel I was staying in because obviously I was living in different rooms at different times. I was always on the move. Came to the hotel I was staying in and was like, hey, yo, that Cheyenne that you work with, we just pulled her over and she narked you out. And so I got to go to work that night and let all the bikers know this bitch tried to snitch to the cops.
Holy shit. She's getting bumped off immediately upon
I don't know what happened. I don't know what happened to her.
I'll bet you don't. I'll bet no one does.
Never saw her again.
I'm going to quote a friend who I haven't spoken to in years, but he once said something to me that scared the absolute shit out of me in the hills of Georgia. And he was like, you know what? Problems aren't problems forever. And I was like, why is that? And he goes, because hogs eat everything. And I just stood there and looked at his yard and how big his hogs were, and I was like, fucking, I'm never pissing you off.
Dude, that shit's terrifying. That's actually, I left that club and that area. I fled that area.
You have to. Okay, here's what happened to me in Atlanta. Exactly that. Okay, not in Dallas, in Atlanta. Okay, in Atlanta, there was a series of fucking things that, like, stagnant job market. Basically, you have to know someone. You can be educated and still not get a job there. It's about knowing someone before you get there to get you the job.
Atlanta is a very large small town.
It is that's a great way of putting it. And I didn't really realize that because I started college there. So, like, I grew into the state and I had, but then when I left and I came back, I was like, who the fuck are you? And I tried reclaiming, like, a life and a company at the same level of Texas, and it was like, not happening. They don't have that kind of money there. They don't.
No.
And also, interestingly, these people are supposedly nicer, but I don't know. People in Georgia, to me, it's like a collection of drug dealers and assholes, and you just don't know who you're talking to yet.
They got some kick-ass drag queens in Atlanta, though.
The best!
Atlanta drag scene is pretty fucking badass.
Yes, and it's so prominent. In fact, I only know this because, it almost walks over the lesbian community a lot. I don't know why this is, because I only noticed this in Atlanta, not in Dallas. But I noticed this in Atlanta. Like, we had drag shows at MSR all the time.
Yeah.
All the time. My sister's room. Shout out to my girls. So speaking of shouting out to our girls, we're doing a new show.
We are doing a new show.
We are.
But kind of the same show, but different.
Better. In a different way. Okay, here's the thing. I did some market research and I found out what made us special. And, like, I'm capitalizing on that.
It was scabies, wasn't it?
What? Wait, say that again?
I said, was it scabies? It was scabies, wasn't it?
It probably was, but I'm going to overlook that just for this conversation because I'm trying to market us, so shh.
Right. We had all our shots.
We do. We're vaccinated because, duh. I think we'll still be as controversial as ever. But I found out what made us unique is that we talk about shit that should be talked about. We talked about fetishes and BDSM and outlets and giving people a voice, and people really latched onto that last year. And so for this season, well, okay, maybe I took, like, a bit of a jump from, like, exposure to that world from our podcast. Now I've, like, taken it into a profession because now I'm doing, like, this findom thing, and it's fucking great, by the way. So
yeah, I think that a lot of the changes to the show are prompted more by changes in our own personal lives.
Yes,
we both have new shit going on right now.
It's so
that
exciting.
It's giving us a bit more focus.
Yep.
So we'll still go off on tangents. We'll still rant. We'll still do this and that. But the subject matter is going to be a lot more focused, I think.
Yes. Yeah, because I figured it out. You guys only care about us for the whips, chains, and leather and relationship advice. And I get you. I get you. Honestly, I started polling people, and they love the fact that we talk about weed so freely because it's something they're trying to bring into, like, the kindred market. You know? So, like, I think that's
We
important.
should still do that.
Yeah, so we're still doing. We're literally smoking right now, people. Like, you still know us, okay? But like, I'll give you an example. So I just touched on this a second ago. So I started Fin Domination, and inspired by my wife, really, because she had an amazing idea that if I insulted men, they would pay me, and I was like, nah, and she was fucking right as usual. So listen to your wife, assholes. Don't be me. Could have saved myself a lot of heartache if I just listened to her sooner.
Oh.
But so immediately I saw a window into a world of the fetish community I didn't even know existed. When you said that I didn't actually have to send photos and videos, and I didn't have to over-sexualize myself, I just had to keep being myself, and people would pay, I didn't believe you. I love you, but I didn't believe you. But now I get it. And as it turns out, it's an actual kink. And I feel like there needs to be a voice to kinks that maybe we don't talk about, we don't hear about. Everybody knows about being choked and tied down and like candle wax and shit like that. But like, what about shibari? We don't really talk about that a lot. And that's different from general bondage. You know? Like there's a whole methodology.
Shibari is more of like an art.
Yeah, it is.
It's
beautiful.
Oh, it is. On my other show, Legion After Dark, I
download it now.
I interviewed a rigger and his rope bunny and everything, and they both said the same thing. They were like, all the big suspensions and impressive looking stuff is really nice to do and take a pretty picture, but the actual best sexual and actual play ties, you're on the ground.
Yep.
You know
the best photos that I've ever seen taken are with people placed on the ground, and just the knots, the placement of the knots, how they're knotted together, how everything is laced. Like, it can be so beautiful.
My favorite fetish photo right now is, and I don't know where it is because I saw it and it was on FetLife and I never saw it again.
I know that problem.
But it was these three women. And they were suspended up from trees, and all the ropes were tied out to look like giant wings on each of them. It was incredible. Incredible.
Wow.
But I'll never find that picture again.
So, speaking of pictures, this is a perfect segue, actually, because I had a Facebook account, and I don't use it, so... I had an Instagram account, which a lot of you follow, and some of you actually found the show that way or have been sending in questions to us that way. And now you're probably like, what the fuck? Because when you go at Daddy Issues Show, you find nothing. Thanks, Instagram, assholes.
I don't get it. I do not get it. And what I think is because, obviously, as Shade said, she's doing fin doming now. I am training under a dominatrix for actual, like, physical dom work. So we both have kind of taken different paths within the same industry. But my Instagram account for Legion After Dark, I don't have my dom Instagram account set up yet, but that'll be coming soon. But my Legion After Dark account, I post all manner of pictures that I find online. I post like bondage shots, electroplay, anything. Yeah. I've got pictures.
You've got some crazy shit. I saw the video you posted. I was like, why am I getting flagged?
Right? But she is the one whose account's getting shut down and having pictures banned. She posted a picture today that was flagged. And it was just of a woman kneeling. Like, you couldn't see boobs, you couldn't see ass, nothing. It was like all you could see is the tops of her shoulders and her hands and arms. That is it.
Yep.
And they flagged it.
Yep.
And I think there's a big... See, this is the problem with Findom. Like, it is always going to be a controversial stance because there are Findoms and then there are just gold digging bitches.
I was going to say abusers for pay, which is different.
Yeah.
I've seen, I know exactly what you're talking about, and I feel like they're filling my Twitter feed right now. There are some really awesome doms out there, okay? And I'm not here to bash you, but the ones that have, I just, on Twitter the other day, someone reported that a sub committed suicide because their former dom had ruthlessly attacked them and then abandoned them. Huh?
Harassed them and harassed them and harassed them and harassed them and broke them down. And
he was special needs.
I saw that as well.
And, okay. So there were a lot of different reactions to that, but everybody was pretty much in unison, this isn't okay. And I made the comment saying, this is horrific. Abuse is still abuse. If you can't control yourself, you have no business being in control in any form, whether it's a bank account or a body.
Yeah, absolutely.
Period.
Absolutely.
And there's no excuse for it. And I think you touched on something really poignant, which is people don't really look at Findom like domination in general. It's a completely different vibe that people get from it, and
which I think is bullshit. For the record, I think it is still a form of domination. I think it absolutely counts as domination, and this is a fetish that some people have and want to indulge in. And you are providing the same service that we are providing for masochists when we kick them in the balls repeatedly.
Right.
You know.
Yeah.
It's going back to the sub that committed suicide. I mean, right, if it was not a Findom, if it was a physical dominatrix that had whipped someone to death, this wouldn't even be a conversation.
Right.
There would not even be an opposing, but that is emotionally
what happened. Right.
You know?
Yeah. And that's the other thing. You have a real responsibility to a submissive to protect them also from themselves. You know,
absolutely.
It's almost like the do no harm thing. Like, yes, I'm verbally humiliating them for pay, but first of all, they're asking me to. Secondly, I still ask what their limits are, and I think this is an important step for any dom, whether you're controlling an account or everybody has a limit. You have to ask.
Oh, because I'm not even taking. I'm not taking clients yet because I'm not ready to take clients yet. I don't want to start taking clients until I have all of my shit set up.
Yeah.
I have my forms printed out because, like I said, if you're going to do a session with me, I'm going to need some sort of medical history, some sort of verifiable ID, some sort of, because, if you're diabetic and you don't tell me and I tie you up, and you lose circulation in your feet. And so, so many things can go wrong. That is the reason why, you don't play with strangers. That's why you don't play with amateurs. That's why,
So I'm going to make an excellent example of this to you, and a cautionary tale. I'm not going to out the person it was about, but someone once told me that during a play session, they saran wrapped their partner, and the partner almost died because they couldn't safe word and they couldn't breathe. And as, I don't know if people know this, but as your body heats the saran wrap, it shrinks around you like shrink wrap, which is one of the reasons it's a kink. It's that restrictive, cocoon-like feeling. However, it can easily jump the line of being very volatilely unsafe. And you don't want to put yourself in that situation where you can't safe word or you can't. I'm not saying you need to. I'm just saying you should be able to.
And it's, as a dom, please, if you have your sub in a position where they can't speak, anything like a hood, a gag, whatever, give them a nonverbal cue.
Yeah, there has to be one. They have to have an out.
If I have someone tied up, I'll give them like a bell to hold in their hand or something like that.
Yeah,
so that
something.
if they need to say for it, they can ring it.
Yeah.
If they can't use their words. And sometimes it's good to offer that option to subs anyway, just because sometimes they get so deep into subspace that they feel distressed, but they also can't actually safe word.
Yeah.
You know, they can't speak the word.
It's almost like when you are in shock and you feel like a predator is coming at you or something, and your heart drops out of your chest and you want to scream but you can't.
Yeah.
So it's not that they're afraid of you, it's that they can't. It's that level of adrenaline that's preventing them from getting the words out. So sometimes a nonverbal thing could be really useful.
Yeah, it's a useful thing to have, just something to keep in mind if you're ever in that position.
So what do you think the aversion is with Findoms specifically? Do you think it's the money element, or what do you think it is?
I think that because it's a relatively new within the scene thing, that automatically the old guard's going to hate it. I think that some doms see it as not truly dominating because you're not doing any sort of, you're not actually abusing them in any way. You're not beating them. You're not tying them up. You're not doing all these types of play with them. I think some people see it as a way for people who aren't kinky to take advantage of the BDSM scene. I think that's a really big one. Because anybody can go online and say they're a Findom. You know? Anybody can go online and say they're a Dom, though. Mm-hmm. Anybody can go online and say fucking anything. But I think that with Findom, it's difficult for it to be recognized as a legitimate kink when it clearly is a legitimate kink. Otherwise, there wouldn't be any Findoms. Somebody would have tried it once. It wouldn't have worked. And you know what I mean? Like... if men have this kink, if anyone has this kink, I've never heard of a woman having this kink, but if a man has this kink,
I found one. Oh, we need to touch on that, but go on.
They want to indulge it, then what is the harm? They're not hurting anyone. But with some extreme Findom, you know, some Findoms take full control of their slaves' bank accounts altogether.
I heard that, yes.
And things like that. And that is such, a lot of people see that as abuse. Mm-hmm. That, you know, whether it's a kink or not, that's a step too far. Okay. You know? So I think that adds to the stigma a bit as well. So it's a lot of different factors, I think, coming together to make it a bit, you know, everyone's got an opinion on it. You know?
Yeah, no, I really wanted that because I know that there's like this abrasive nature. When you go on FetLife, which is like one for all for kink, you know? like that's the home, right? Okay, but here's my problem. I don't really feel at home there anymore because what I'm actually doing, they don't agree with at all. So now in the alternative lifestyle that I've chosen with all the people that know me there, they're like, you were cool before when you were a sub or even a switch, like you were okay. But now that you're trying to take money for telling him he's a low piece of shit, you're an asshole. And
yeah.
You know, like there are entire groups that at the top of the group it says no Findoms or Findoms may not post. It's like, okay, easy. Because let me explain my version of what I'm doing. Because it's not like, I don't feel like there's a cookie cutter way to do any form of domination. I may be wrong, but like
No, you're not wrong.
Like, I feel like
everyone it's important for there not to be. It's important for everybody to have their own style because we're all different. We're not a fucking doll. Yeah. Well, some are. You know, but you know, come on. There's going to be things that guys like about you that is unique to you. You know,
well, like a lot of the things that people would expect, or even I expected before I was doing this, where I thought I was going to have to send photos of myself, and I was like, I'm not gonna. Like, I'm not going to send explicit photos, is what I'm trying to say. Yeah. It's not like a guy got me a purse, and I was like, he was like, show me a picture of you with it. And I'm such a bitch. I took a photo of me with the purse on the table, and it's like torso level. You can't even see my face or my vagina. You can't see anything. I'm wearing pants. Like, this is not exciting for you. But there you go.
Yeah.
And that's, like, really my vibe is fuck with me. Come on. Like, I'm not.
Yeah, but I think, see, that particular case, I think that was more him verifying that you are the person in the pictures that he's paying.
Oh, well, that's fine.
Than anything else. I think when they ask for you to take a picture with the thing they've sent, they've picked something off your wish list and sent it to your address.
Yep.
And they want to know that you are actually you.
Yeah.
And not not a catfish account.
He was
It's
totally
just trying to
happy
make
with it too. Like he was like he donated as soon as I sent him the photo. I was like, good boy. Like I'm not a typical findom in that like, yeah, I'm here to fuck with your money, but I'm not a complete asshole. I guess the thing is like I think they sense that about me a little bit, but they know that I'm hard enough that they're gonna have to really work for my attention.
That's because you're doing it properly. You're not trying to just bankrupt some dude's fucking family. You're just like donate here and there.
Yep. Because you're gonna.
Yeah. Donate here and there, but watch your own shit. Watch your own expenses. Watch your own account. You're not trying to be like, sign over your house to me now.
No. Yeah, honestly, like I don't know how far I'm gonna take this yet. I haven't decided. Like
well, it's a growing process, just like anything else.
And I'm restarting that. So that leads me to problem that we were just talking about, which is the censorship on Instagram basically means that I had to start a whole new Instagram account, which I now have. It's at Shade Queen 2019. So check me out. Go ahead and add me and like promote me because you love us. And like, honestly, I am fully expecting that one to get shut down, especially after getting flagged like 3 days later.
Dude, it's ridiculous. It is absolutely ridiculous.
So that is a problem I want to fix. I'm really thinking that over time this is going to be a theme where it is very difficult to find a foothold, especially since I don't do in person, so I have to get an audience.
Well, I quite liked the idea you had about offering live chats and things like that.
I really need to look more into that too. I just need to figure out a way to structure it. Yay! So there just isn't really a soft place for us to fall. Us findoms, we're not allowed in the club or at any of the inns. So it sucks.
There are like I have found a couple of websites that were just findom websites.
And so far, I got to be honest, they're all shit.
Yeah, I've heard nothing. I asked around just for you, and I've heard nothing good about any of them.
I'm glad I didn't pay to verify on any of these because it's like it's not even worth it. They suck. These pages, and I'm not going to name them because like it's not their fault, but it's also their fault. So I'm not going to name you.
Yeah.
I'm going to save face for you. But like, I thought, dumbass me, thought that, okay, FetLife, that like I already have people that like me. No.
No, not at all. Not at all.
So
FetLife is never a good place. FetLife is barely a good place for regular pro-doms, let alone findoms.
I'm realizing that.
FetLife is more, like I said, I just use it to find where the events are. Because I have no other use for it. The rest of it is, there's a lot of elitism and a lot of cliquey bullshit, and I don't give a shit. Yeah. I don't care.
Yeah.
Like, who's got, I'm involved in a real world way. I am not worried about being involved in a virtual, club.
Well, and see, now for me, it's really difficult because it's not that I'm unwilling to go to an event or whatever. It's that most of what I'm doing is online. Like, to be honest with you, interestingly, none of these guys have even spoken to me on the phone or anything. or like, like an audio. I haven't sent them anything yet. So I know there's going to be value in that for them, but I've lost my entire audience, and I don't know how to get y'all back because Instagram's creeping on my shit already, and I don't know where else to find y'all. So FinSubs, find me. Find me. It's your first task. Find me.
Girl, get on Twitter. Like,
I'm on Twitter.
By the way,
I'm on Twitter.
Let me find you so we can friend.
Okay, I'll tell you what it is because I always forget. It's a new account.
I have a pitch for you about a new segment for Daddy Issues.
Let's do it. Tell me.
If it would be all right with you, I would like for us, one of us each week, to have a featured sex worker of the week. It can be a dom, it can be a regular escort, it can be whatever sex worker of the week.
I love that. Let's do it.
Me too.
That'll be like our feature. And sometimes we should be able to, if we can get in touch with them, if we can feasibly get in touch with them, it would be great to have them on.
Yeah.
Well, but either way, we should talk about them. My Twitter is @darkshadequeen and the number 1. So far, Twitter has gotten me a lot of messages going nowhere.
There you are. There's a Findom Discord.
Yeah. I don't know how to use Discord yet. I gotta be honest. I don't get it. I don't understand how to read it. I feel like such a dumbass. It's just a little sad. Like, I'm such a techie, but when it comes to, like, that particular kind of site, I suck.
Oh, that's sweet. Yep. Okay, I'm following you.
So another thing that I think is problematic, and I think we need to mention this because it came up just today.
Well, wait, we need to snap that bit where we were quiet for ages so you can edit it.
Oh, okay. Okay. So if you guys want to follow my Twitter, it's @darkshadequeen and the number 1. And I'll put it in the show notes for those of you who are really lazy. And can I plug yours?
Legion After Dark.
Yeah. Yeah.
On
You got to
Twitter,
follow
Legion
that
After
too.
Dark. I will have my Prodom account up and running at some point in the next week. Right now, I'm kind of waiting on a couple of bits and bobs to get together so that I can make some content. And, bits and bobs. But as soon as that's active, I'll post a link on Legion After Dark as well, so you guys can follow me there too.
Okay, and then I want to bring up this tweet since we're talking about the Twitters.
The Twitters.
So someone made a threat on these two girls who took a video. They're two Findoms, and they each have a Twitter account. And there was a video of them they posted over the weekend of just them standing in a store being themselves. And someone responded to the video saying that they hoped they both got raped.
Really? That sounds like some incel bullshit, but okay.
Thank you. And I said this. I was like, abuse is still abuse. Threats are still threats. Do we need a class on having class? Like, is it that fucking hard to be humans anymore? Like, at what point do we go, yeah, let's just jump to rape because that's acceptable because she's female? Or because, like, I understand that not everybody's going to be into Findom, but you don't suggest crime on people. I'm just saying.
No, and it happens more to women in the sex industry than anyone else because women in the sex industry are seen as lesser women.
Yep.
Which is ridiculous because, my theory, right? Just throwing out my opinion here, but, sex workers are some of the only truly independent women on this planet.
Word.
They make their own schedules. They work for no one. And that amount of empowerment can be pretty fucking scary to a poor little white boy in his mommy's basement.
Yep.
Come
at me.
Right? So, of course, they're going to talk shit.
Yep.
Of course, they're going to fucking be like, oh, women, they're sex workers, they're the lowest of the low. And it's just like, go fuck yourself. The only reason you think that is because a long, long, long time ago, a bunch of white guys decided to add value to virginity so they could sell their daughters for more.
True.
So fuck off.
True.
The whole concept of women being chaste and pure and wife material, it's fucking bullshit that was put on us long before we were born. And I'm sorry, but I ain't that bitch.
Yeah,
I'm not that
her.
bitch.
I ain't her. In fact, I'm so not her. I'm going to tell you a little story about an interview I had yesterday. And I so hope one day she hears this.
I am going to roll while you're telling that story. So if I don't respond, that's why. But I am listening.
Okay. You'll have a response by the time the story's over, because it's kind of it's not the shortest story ever, but it's not the longest one either. So I had this interview, and I thought spa, good idea. Me, relaxing, discount services, I thought maybe. And then I thought, selfishly, I could have a job and get the fuck out of the house. So I was like, I'm gonna do it. Because, I like working from home. I do. But, I thought this might be a good place to work out of the home. So I get there, and I'm standing in the lobby, and this is no joke, for 7 minutes straight with two bitches staring at me in their Gucci belts, who are looking me up and down like I'm a piece of trash, and I'm laughing my ass off on the inside because what's on my ass costs more than they're gonna make in both their paychecks in a month. So they're laughing at me and I'm laughing at them laughing at me to myself. So that's going on, and it was in a really expensive area. So I kind of knew what I was walking into, a bunch of uppity puppety bitches, that are used to daddy buying the nicest car for them and whatever. I knew that, okay? But I go upstairs and I sit down. And I'm my normal pleasant self, believe it or not, there's a side like that of me. And I am a 10 when it comes, not to overstate it, but if you interview with me, you're lucky because I'm fucking great at interview. In fact, if I ever wanted to get into pageantry, I would knock the tits off of any bitch that were walking that damn catwalk in all of her 8-inch heels, because let me tell you something, girl, I got your ass in an interview. So, all that said, and I know this because I have had such great feedback in my interviews, and I always get offered the job, unless it's a scheduling conflict. Other than that,
I don't think I've ever met anyone that was just really fucking good at being interviewed.
I am. I'm so good at it, and I'm so confident about my interview skills that when I am high walking into an interview, I'm like, I'll be fine. Not because I'm high, but because I know I'm that fucking legit at it.
So what would you say is your biggest personal weakness?
Oh, okay, so this is good. My biggest personal weakness is that I never stop trying, and that can be a problem because it can be time-consuming, and it can also detract from other skills that I have, or it can slow me down from other things that I'm prioritizing.
That's a really good answer.
Fucking right?
You should start. I mean, if the fandom doesn't work out, just start teaching people how to do interviews.
Now, it's interesting you say this because I swear to God, you're not the first person today to say it to me. And yesterday, someone was like, "You should work at the college. You're really well educated, and you can teach a class."
Why don't you work at the college?
You know what? I'm looking today. I'm going to look today. Thank you, everybody. Everybody's up my ass right now. But seriously, I cannot wait. But so I'm applying to a college. I'm going back to school, guys. This is just let's do this again. But no, I'm realizing now that etiquette and how to interview, it's a fucking skill. And students need it, but so do adults coming back into the workforce. Somebody who's been out and retired, who now needs to go back to work because they've lost a relative or whatever, their circumstances have changed. They don't know what that dialogue looks like 20 years later. I can help.
Oh, yeah. Absolutely.
So, and you put me on the spot. I wasn't even interviewing with you. So there you go. So I sit down and she looks over my resume and she asks me to tell me about myself, and I hate that because while I like talking about me, when people tell you to talk about yourself, it's like, all right, then. So
I'm always just like, are you sure you want me to? Like,
it's like, how much? Let's talk. But like, I know what not to say, and I'm really poised in an interview generally. But my energy comes across, and that's intentional. I'll tell you why that's intentional. If you can't handle my energy, we're just not going to work. And no matter how I behave, and because my energy I can't control. This is just who I am. I can control everything else because I'm really I worked around aggressive dogs, so it's like you learn to control your P's and Q's. So this is what happens. So I'm sitting down, and at the end of telling her about, kind of what I was doing, she then she puts down my resume, and she sits back in her chair, and she looks me up and down, and she goes, "You just don't look like you need a job." And I was like, okay.
What does that even mean?
First, it meant that because I was dressed well and put together, that how could I possibly need a job? Now, here's the problem. Bitch, let's not play with each other, because I'm not that nice. So I immediately, because the way she said it was very biting and accusatory, like I was wasting her time. So I bit right back, because I'm just that kind of bitch. And you better know who you're hiring. So what she was expecting was for me to go weak and meek on her. And what I said was, well, I'm not some bimbo in a skirt that came in to waste your time today. And I stared at her. And she didn't know whether to fucking shit or go blind. And I'm telling you, I have never, ever, ever responded that way in an interview, because you already heard how I am in an interview.
Yeah.
Very, very well put together. So, like, when she said that, I was offended. How dare you act like I'd go through the application process, go through 2 screenings, set up an interview over a 3-week process to come in here and dick with you. Don't fuck with me, bitch. Because what it really was is she wanted to come at me like an aggressive client. And I knew what she was going to say about it, but I didn't care. Because I've already been interviewed, asshole. And I've interviewed. Because when I worked for a corporate company, I had an assistant and I had 3 people underneath me. I interviewed them all. And everybody that I didn't hire. And I believe inherently you have to be respectful to people. Whether you're going to hire them, whether you like what they have to say, whether you like how they're behaving in the interview, you, as the professional, have to behave as a professional and keep your shit together.
Yeah, man.
But if you're interviewing me as my superior and you're going to come at me like an asshole, I'm going to let you know that I'm not to be fucked with right off. And
you have to.
Yes,
you
I did. To. Absolutely, I did. And she sat there and looked at me, and we both looked at each other, and I was thinking to myself, all right, game's on. Are you coming? And the tits on this woman, for sure, if I had been her, I would have been like, I just don't think this is a fit, because clearly we aren't, right?
Yeah.
But she went so far as to play ball. She was the tits on this woman. I was like, all right. So she proceeds to try chastising me in front of her minion, who she says is a second her. Now, mind you, the job I was interviewing for should not have included some of the duties she was explaining. So then I immediately go, all right, what's up here? And she then says to me, first of all, she justifies her original comment saying, well, that's not how we would speak to a client. I said, well, I wasn't responding to a client. I was responding to a superior. And furthermore, if a superior spoke to me that way, they wouldn't be my superior, because I would not work for them. And so, like, she really knew I was strong as fuck right away. Like, you're not going to dick me down, alpha female. I've already done your job. Like, I don't feel like we need to demoralize each other as women to work together. Do you?
Of fucking course not.
So, to me, that's what it was. It was a dick measuring contest, and I wasn't here to do that. I literally just wanted the job. I thought it was going to be a calm environment. Fucking wrong. Like, I was so wrong.
She's not looking for a regular employee. She's looking for somebody that will do whatever she says, will work overtime, will do way more work than they're supposed to be doing, and you ain't that bitch.
You want to know the best part? Okay.
Yes.
So there's 2 of the best parts. So one, she's giving me a tour. So this was strike number 1 was part of the interview. Strike number 2 is we're taking a tour of the facility, and like something was out of place. And to all of her employees that are listening, guess what she's saying about you? So we're walking around, and I'm interviewing you while you're interviewing me, by the way. Like, I'm deciding if I want to work here. Okay?
I treat interviews exactly like that.
Thank you.
I do.
And people need to know this. The person you're interviewing with is going to interview 100 more people. You don't need this job so much that you need to change your character or unless you're a shitty person, you might need to change that. But like, if you're a nice person and someone is treating you like shit, not okay. Not from day one, not on day 100. Don't allow it, because they'll never stop.
No,
and
they won't.
I could tell by her behavior, this was who she was. And something a good sponsor will tell you is, when someone shows you who they are, believe them the first time. Do not wait around. And so I was trying to weigh all of this because I wanted the job and I liked the environment, and I thought, and then she runs this by me. So we're taking a tour, and she was like, you're working for tips here. And I was like, what? And apparently she wanted to cross train. Then she wanted me to work for tips. And my fucking rich ass is like, so I'm assuming that's in addition to the hourly that, because you are not about to pay me bartending wages to work for an old man holding a towel. I'm not going to do that shit.
Right.
And then she was like, it's VIP service. 100%. These people are paying a lot of money. Dude, I've worked for expensive clients. They hired me. So on purpose. So I get what it's like to make rich people happy. Okay. But at the same time, be realistic. For $11 an hour, nobody is going to bend themselves in half. And not for $2 an hour and a tip. She was like, this one girl was working a double and she made $60. I was like, oh,
dude,
$60. That's half an appointment for me. Are you kidding me?
Right? Who do
that
you
was
think you're talking to? So it's like a sweatshop of the spa world.
Yes, it really. Okay, but here's the thing. It wasn't a rub and tug place. Okay, this is a nice place. But then she brings in her minion, right? I jumped around. So we're doing the tour, and something was out of place, and she goes, seriously, I don't even know how people think they have that job here. It's like, ooh. Well, you'd be saying that about me. And then she sends a text to somebody that they fucked up or whatever. And then she gets back and then she goes, so I'm having difficulty here understanding why you want this job. And I was like, this was my answer. She's like, so why do you want this job? And she puts her arms on the table like this. And I was like, oh, God, bitch, we're doing it? Okay. All right. So here was my answer. And I swear this was my answer. I really like helping people. I like identifying their pain points, finding out what is bothering them on the front end so that I can alleviate them really, really quickly before they become actual problems throughout the experience, so that not only do they walk away having a good taste in their mouth and want to come back, but they tell everyone that they had a good experience, which means future business from other clients.
Right.
Wrong answer was her immediate response. That was the wrong answer. She asked me why I wanted the job. That's why I wanted the job. I told her I thought it would be a therapeutic environment where I could help people and I could guide them through the experience and, tie up loose ends. I said that. I was like, I'm really good at filling in holes and making sure things are running smoothly. And I think I could be an asset in that way. And I said, and unique to me, I said, I do have, business ownership experience. And the reason that's valuable to you is that I will recognize the issues and I'll fix them before they become a problem. And not everybody can do that as quickly. Sometimes they need somebody looking over their shoulder to be like, fix this. Yeah. And I thought that was a good answer. And she was like, no, that's the wrong answer. Keep going. Apparently the right answer was money. But let me give you the coup de grace of this interview. $11 an hour, part-time, but they want me to work full-time hours. Basically no benefits. And I should be happy doing all the jobs from bartending and serving to cleaning up shit to what the fuck? This was supposed to be a fucking spa. I I could tell that there was another angle, and you were dead on too. So I started probing her, and I was like, all right, why cross-train someone? Is it so they learn the salon to explain it to a client, or is there another game in mind? And she looked at me like, how the fuck did you know that? And she goes, well, I might be looking for a second me, somebody to be my assistant. I was like, I don't want that fucking job.
Right?
And it got really, really hairy. So they gave me the job, didn't ask me if I want it, start putting me on the schedule, take my ID. I'm sitting, yes, I'm sitting there. Yeah, I'm sitting there and I'm like, they didn't even ask me if I wanted the job. They just told me what they wanted to pay, which I know it pays more than that because I saw the listing and it was up to 17. It's like, so if you want to start me at 11, you can suck my dick because I haven't worked for $11 an hour since I was a teenager. So fuck you. And secondly, no benefits. Like, are you kidding me? Like, no. If you're not going to give me benefits, you better give me not complete shit pay to do, 90 hours of work in 20? No. Fuck you. So today I'm actually going to call her and be like, I don't want the job, and here's why. A, your interview skills suck and need a lot of adjustment because you come across as essentially rude and there's no sense of altruism for what you're doing whatsoever. You seem like you're eye rolling through it. You don't seem to care about your employees whatsoever. And you insisted on trying to do a dick measuring contest with me when I was coming to you for a job. Kind of makes you look like an asshole. I'm going to say it in a diplomatic way.
That is the weirdest fucking story I've ever heard, just because it was all this crazy shit happened in the interview, and then they were just like, right, you're on the schedule, you're working Thursday.
Dude, they wanted me so fucking bad. You know what? I can tell you why. 2 reasons. One, she immediately saw something in me that she wasn't seeing in other people she was interviewing. So initially the job I came in and interviewed for, she didn't want me for that position. Immediately she saw something more in me that she wanted to cash in on it. And she thought she was going to get it for $11 an hour. Fuck you. No. Listen, I'm happy to humble myself a bit. I used to make a great deal of money for just a consult, but I don't expect to make that now. I'm okay with that. You're not gonna get me to act like your bitch for $11 an hour. No, you're not. No, you're not. And treat me like shit during an interview? Fuck you.
Yeah, it's bizarre.
It was. And then they hit me with this. Oh, don't worry about the reviews. Also,
dude,
the Minion...
You should go for a day and secret film everything.
Dude, the Minion that she pulled in admitted that she left the company and came back and brought the entire staff that was currently there, meaning there was a need for that, meaning that there was a mass exodus at some point.
Yeah, everybody left.
Listen, I've been to a walkout. Let me tell you something about when you decide to walk out. Everybody is like, mutiny on the bounty. Fuck these people. They are the shittiest of people. They fucked up. You know what usually causes it? Not getting your checks usually is what does it. Happened to me, and there was a mass exodus at my work, and I was like, yeah, I'm in. Let's do this. It was the closest I ever got to walking on a street with a picket, I was my moment. I don't know, but and then I'm driving away. They're sending me the paperwork and a welcome package. She's like, aloha. And I was like, what the fuck is happening? You've just written my name all over the schedule. You know how when you're interviewing, they ask, what you'd like to be referred to as? They didn't ask anything really about how, nothing. But they're desperate. And I sense that desperation. If you're trying to schedule me this week and haven't even asked if I'm available, what if I gave my 2 weeks notice somewhere, assholes?
I know, that's freaking weird.
It's not weird, it's desperate. And that tells me that they just needed something I wasn't about to deliver. I'm not about to, I can't. And the huge deal breaker for me is they also, on top of everything else I told you, they're open on the weekends until 8 o'clock, so it's not going to work because I wouldn't even get to spend time with my kid.
Right?
So I'm for $11 an hour, you're going to ruin my life? I don't think so. fuck this. Like, so much. I even said to her, she tried telling her minion, like, chastising me in front of her minion, saying, like, can you believe that she said that to me? But then she softened, and I was like, listen. I turned right to her minion, and I was like, I treated her the way I would treat any superior who spoke to me in that fashion, because it's inappropriate. And I was like, and you just mark my words, it would happen that way twice. And I looked back at her boss, and I went, the thing is that if you were a client, I'd know you were money coming through the door. If you're my boss, that's not your money you're playing with. It's theirs. And she goes, well, I'm the one paying your checks. I was like, actually, you're fully incorrect on that. I was like, the person that's paying all of the checks walked through the door. It's not you, it's them. I was like, the client is how you have the business. Your employees keep it running and you keep it running smoothly, but the client is the bottom line.
Yeah.
How can you run a business and have to be told that? Oh! Which is why, like, I'm pretty sure I just can't really work for someone else. Like, this is why Fit and Domination is perfect for me. Because I can control my own schedule like I did before. I'm very seriously thinking about getting into that college atmosphere. Again, not because I want to go to college, but because I think it would be good to advise people that don't have interviewing skills, maybe are a little dusty or rusty on certain things, assets. They need to get together to be taken on by a company they want. You know,
offer it as a service through your FinDom stuff.
I'm serious about this. Like, okay, here's the thing. I'm taking FinDom super seriously, and I'm taking this consulting avenue very seriously because I have a lot of information in my head that could be really valuable to people. So if you have questions, I might have the answers of your dreams. But no, my mom actually pointed out that interviewing is almost a lost art, that people now text during interviews, and I'm like, what?
What?
Yes.
Is that a thing now?
Yes. They'll like,
that's weird.
They'll like text and like post on Facebook and shit like that.
While they're in the interview.
Yeah. I don't even have my phone available to me in an interview. Like, sometimes I have to like take it out if I have to fill. Here's the other thing. How often do you go into an interview nowadays where you don't have to fill out an application? Because that's their verification of you in writing, not from you, but from their office, like their verification of your attestment to that history, so that they can get rid of you if they have to, based on what you said there and signed. They didn't even have me fill out an application, and it just occurred to me.
That is fucking.
I literally sent a cover letter and my resume, and that's all. And then she said this to me. She was like, well, do you have any spa experience? Like, that's what she said. Experience with spa software. I was like, no, but you knew that because I have no spa experience whatsoever, and you read my resume before I came in and you set up the interview. I was like, so before I ever sat down, you knew the answer to that question. Like, don't be an asshole to me because I'm not going to work for you. You ruined this for you. Because honestly, if she hadn't been such an asshole, I probably would have played along and like tried to make it work for a little while and see how it went. Yeah. But she was such an asshole. I was like, I can't work for you.
Fuck no.
No. But I can work for me, so I'm going to do that. And I think, so I kind of want to really frame up the angle of the show now for people.
Okay.
So I think our main focus is going to be, would you say it's fetishes, or would you say it's, I mean, how would you frame us?
I would say if you're gonna call it anything, I'd say it was BDSM themed, because then everything under that umbrella is accounted for.
I like that.
Because we're not going to be just talking about individual fetishes.
Right.
For every show. So,
right.
You know, that just encompasses all of it.
Well, and I was getting, like, before my Instagram was deleted, again, you can follow my new one. It's Shade Queen 2019, and I'll be posting things from the show, like little sound bites and things like I used to. People really like that. And people were really submitting questions for you and I. Like, I remember a couple of them. I think I wrote them down, actually. Hold on.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, someone was asking, I remember one specific one, it was a woman, and she was asking how you know when a dom is pulling away when they actually don't ask to release you. And I was like, I'm going to let you answer this because I have an individual answer, and I feel like you might have a better way to respond than I would, because I'm kind of like...
Do they mean like, how do you tell if a dom is pulling away to where he's getting ready to leave you, or if he's just pulling away and not doing anything about it, not releasing you, not letting you know anything?
The first.
Is that more like the first one?
The first.
Well,
based on some of her other commentary.
Yeah, I'd say definitely they pull away. They stop messaging as much. They stop calling as much. They stop checking in as often. They take longer to respond to you when you message them. That's another big one. They stop enforcing the rules as much is a big one. Like if, let's say you have a rule to where you have to text your master every morning as soon as you wake up. Mm-hmm. And if you forget, you get the reaming of a lifetime. You get punished. You get shit. When they stop really enforcing stuff like that, that's when you know it's pretty much over.
Okay.
You know, I mean, that's when they just clearly don't care anymore. You know. And whoever this woman is, I just want to say, if you're listening, I am really sorry you're going through that right now. That is not an easy place to be for any submissive.
So, and I actually wanted to touch on this and be like, girl, you're a soul sister. I've been there. I think most subs have been there. Like, I'm doming now, but like, I didn't always. I was always dominant with women. And when she brought this up, it touched my heart in a million ways, because how many vanilla relationships experience this just as much as we do, where there's like a silence that starts creeping in and swallowing you guys whole. And it's intentional from one person, but it's experienced and felt by the other person.
Yeah,
and so
you
when
can
I
absolutely feel that space. It's like a bubble of space that grows and grows and grows.
And it does. And it eventually does swallow you. And so I was going to say my response to you is, if you're getting to the point where you're starting to feel that absence, that level of, I wouldn't even say you're to the point of abandonment, but you're just like questioning if he is still, or they are still invested, then they aren't as invested. Yeah. And I say that only because, like, if you know there isn't a scheduling issue specifically that they've outlined and they said, hey, I'm going to be doing this, or this is going on, and this is just starting and it's just happening, then it's intentional on their part, but they just don't want to have that conversation. And I also think it could behoove you to have it. Just because you're the sub doesn't mean you can't be like, hey, I want to know if we're still moving in the forward direction or if this has come to an end.
Absolutely. Every submissive has the right to parlay for a conversation and speak as equals if you're having an issue.
Yeah, equality every submissive, is not something
every slave, you all have the right to do that. You absolutely have the right to do that.
There's a level of equality I feel like doms and subs should always have, and dialogue is part of that. Yeah. And especially if they're starting to withdraw in any way that is noticeable to you, there's a reason. And it may not be that they're wanting somebody else. It could be just that this has run its course. It's part of what we deal with in dating. It's what you can deal with in a marriage. It's what you can deal with in a polyamorous relationship. You can deal with it anywhere. People pull away in friendships, and ghost you. It happens. It's happened to me. So, So that absence that you're feeling like a storm is starting to roll in, it is. Like, you're just being real with yourself and putting a voice to it. So good for you. But now you kind of have to decide if you're ready to give yourself the strength to address the conversation, or if you're going to wait until he fully pulls away, or if he brings it up. Generally, if someone's pulling away in that fashion, they're not going to bring it up.
Yeah.
So if you want to have that talk, you're probably going to have it. You're going to have to bring it up.
Yeah.
Because he's not there, or they aren't there. I don't want to assume that it's necessarily, they're a female dom, so she didn't say if it was man or woman.
I mean, we're here.
Yeah, exactly. So I don't. What I'm saying is, she didn't per se say it was a man.
Yeah. Absolutely. I don't envy you that, but his response to you wanting to talk about it will tell you everything you need to know, really.
Yeah, no response is still a response, ladies. It is. It's an answer. And actually, that's one of the things that I felt was really strong about our show is that that'll resonate with anybody. You know, if you're reaching out to someone and they're not responding in the way that they used, they're out of it. You know, they're just not there anymore. And it happens even if you had a good thing going. It just might not.
God, you know, I mean, some people that start out extremely compatible can lose that compatibility.
It's true.
And nobody, neither of you could have done anything wrong or anything like that. It could just be one of those things where that spark just sort of fizzles out, or he or she could be a massive dick bag and be totally screwing you over. I mean,
that happens too. And
I'm not going to sit here and be like, oh, well, he's pulling away, but maybe it's possible. I mean, I don't know this person. It's a stranger. For all I know, he's got,
8 side pieces.
Right. I don't know.
That brings up an important point, which is just because you're involved in the fetish community or some form of domination doesn't mean you're necessarily promiscuous.
Absolutely.
I had to explain this to someone yesterday. So, I want to talk to you a little bit about that because there's this assumption that's made. For example, I'm a findom. So, one of the assumptions that's made is that I'll be talking dirty or doing some sort of porn. I'm not. And I won't because I've got a whole life. So I can tell you with 100% certainty that has never happened. And you've seen some of it. So I know the way I come at it is a little different, but wouldn't you say that the assumption is often made that if you're working in the sex work industry, even if you're not doing porn, if you're just I could sell clips of insulting people, like you mentioned, right? If that is what I'm doing, that's not the typical thing, but it's still the same industry, and I'm going to be lumped in with everyone, with the strippers and the prostitutes and the porno people.
Absolutely. And you know what? That's okay because we are a motherfucking sisterhood.
Yeah. And honestly, they're really cool as shit. You guys should talk and chill with them more.
Absolutely. Oh man, absolutely.
They have the best stories.
Well, I think the biggest assumption about any sex worker across the board, whether it's a findom or an escort or whatever, is that you can just be a piece of shit and pay us and we'll let you do whatever. No, motherfucker. We are very choosy about who we do sessions with.
Yeah, and on top of that, if you want to actually call yourself a slave, you're going to have to fucking prove your worth to me. And I don't mean just in your bank account. You have to have value. I'm not just going to indiscriminately... Yeah, I'm not just going to take you on because you're entertained and I'm entertained. No, that's not how this works. I actually look at this as an actual dominant because I am one.
Yeah.
This is way more than mental. It's often emotional for a lot of people. It can be an obsession. And, that obsessive nature is what charges them to offer tributes and tithes and, regular.
And also their obsessive nature is one of the reasons why we have to be very responsible with them because you don't want to exploit someone.
You don't want to prey on that.
You don't want to prey on people. We just want to do what we do for a living in peace. Possibly with a union. We could do with some medical and dental. That'd be pretty sweet. There's
a difference between experiencing a kink and exploiting it to me.
Right.
And we're here to endorse it for you.
Exhibitionisms anyway.
Yeah, we're here to endorse it for you, but we're not here. I had it the other day, this guy that he was like, if I send you this, will you send me a video of you doing this? And I was like, absolutely fucking not. You're lost here. This is not how that works. First of all, you already disobeyed me by not obeying the pinned shit that says tribute before message, so fail and block. I am here for a specific end. I have made my intentions very known. If you violate that, you're out of the running right there.
That's why so many doms of all types have so many rules of contact.
Yep.
Just it weeds those people out.
Yep.
It weeds them out, you know?
Yeah, there's a difference between you being somebody that like donates like it's PayPal and somebody who is actually like in service to their dom.
Yeah. Well, that's very different. That's
different.
getting into building stables and things like that. That's a whole different thing.
Yeah. But see, it's lumped together though, is the problem.
It's all, well, that's because it's not about the actual job itself. It's about women empowering themselves and taking control of their own sexuality and their own like lives without the help of men.
Well, and it's like, did y'all ever fucking
That's
think?
why it's all lumped together, because it doesn't matter to them. It doesn't matter if you're sucking a dick or if you're kicking someone in the balls. It doesn't matter to them. The point is, you're a woman that's doing her own thing, and they don't like that shit.
Yeah,
they don't fucking like
need
it.
You.
Yeah. It's kind of like the whole witch obsession. You know how every little girl goes through a witch phase when they're little?
I didn't, but I'm sure that's probably because I was just so
you're going through. You're going through that now, but they all have they go through this like
you're like you're a real late bloomer, bitch.
Little girls usually go through, especially like preteens and stuff, go through this sort of witchy phase with crystals and cats and things like that. And it was pointed out that the reason that happens is because for all of our history, witches are the only female characters that live completely independently of any male influence.
And autonomous. Yeah, you're right.
Same with mermaids, really. You know, they're always seen as female. And so that's sort of the refuge of the little girl. And witches are also seen as evil by the same people.
Yeah,
so
like, I've been doing some
sex workers are kind of like the modern day adult version of the scum of society. The creepy lady that has a bunch of cats and, you know, but sexy.
But sexy. Well, okay, and here's the thing. Like,
version.
It's not that I don't post any photos. It's that the photos I post aren't at all suggestive. Like they're just selfies, honestly. And I'm not faulting anybody that does anything different. I'm just saying what I do. Like, I think that the people that find me are just not looking for what other people are doing. And that's what set me apart.
And honestly, like, I'm sorry, I talk a lot of shit about men and about male society and stuff like that, but you're going to get just as much, if not more shit from women than you are men. Because women are the biggest critics of sex workers. And the reason is that they have been brought to believe throughout their entire lives that their virginity made them special. Their faithfulness to their husband. Oh, I'm not a hoe. I'm not a slut. I'm not that thought over there. You know what I mean? Like,
that's so true.
That is literally something that they can take and be like, well, I'm better than other women because at least I'm not a hoe.
Right.
You're not. You're not better than other women.
Yeah.
Hoes or princesses, we are all the same. So get over yourself.
Well, and like, okay, I'll give you an example. So this chick.
It's like, yeah, if we were in medieval times, but you could trade me for like a whole bunch of land and cattle. And it's like, yeah, but I don't want to be traded for land and cattle.
Well, I'll give you an example. So this chick on Twitter said she made a post. She tweeted that she wanted to get a discussion just for femdoms and findoms specifically to talk and get a dialogue going. I was like, I want in. I think this is a great idea. So, and I liked that it was her offering, you know, and she was like, DM me if you're interested. So I did. And I commented first and I was like, I have a show. If you'd like to be on it, I'd love to have you to talk about findom. And, you know, I thought that would be a nice offer. And then I sent her a PM or a DM or whatever the fuck you call them. And while I said this, I was like, would love to join your group for doms. And I was serious about if you'd like to be on the show, you're welcome. Now, she reads my message and then responds with this, which is exactly the catty shit that leads us to be so divided. She goes, not saying I don't believe you at all, but you don't have any verification on your page. Once you do, I'd love to add you and talk further. And I was like,
No. See, I'm on her side with that one. I know how it comes across to you, but the reality is that Twitter has about 500 bazillion fake Findom accounts.
wait for it.
All right, go on.
I was like,
because that first part, it's like, no, I get it. I get where you're coming from.
so
I get it.
I said, at first, I was like, fuck you. But what I said was, how do I verify? And I told her where I had accounts. And she was like, just post it to your Twitter page. Or you could send me a short clip. Well, I wasn't sending her shit because it's like, I don't fucking know you.
That ain't a her. That ain't no her. That's a dude.
And I said, I added a video this morning to my account, which I did. It's pinned on my Twitter right now. And she didn't respond. So it was never fucking about that. It was about two things. First of all, I know she's female and she's a real person. She's awesome. She often posts videos of herself. Like, often.
The way you said often just then was fantastic.
A lot.
Like, full narcissist, huh?
Yeah. So, like, I'm struggling to keep the twittering on my side because I just don't really like it that much. I like Instagram a lot more, but Instagram's ruining it just like Facebook ruined it for me too.
I prefer Twitter just because you don't get your fucking shit taken down.
I like that too.
You know,
I
like being able to post what the fuck ever I want to post and not have them like, oh, there's a nipple.
Yeah, so there's that. So that's one of the reasons I have a Twitter right now. But, you know, she never responded, and I was like just fucking staring at my screen like, you know, first of all, there needs to be a place where we can all talk and not make it into who's the best of the best of the best and just make it about talking.
Yeah.
Like, why?
We're not each other's competition.
Right.
Because the kind of guy that's going to go for you is not going to be the same kind of guy that goes for me.
At all.
It doesn't mean either of us is better.
Right.
It means we are different and we offer different things.
Right.
Fuck's sake. This ain't hard, man. It's not hard to, like, find some solidarity. We're all in the same business. We all, like, have to deal with the same bullshit. What's the you know, come on. Save the cattiness for the strip club, man.
I can't. I just, you know, I blocked her. I was like, fuck her. Like, I remember thinking when I was reading this, I was like, now I put up the verification because I was thinking maybe there's a reason that I'm not getting as much of a response. Maybe people are having the same question in their mind that I don't exist, that I'm not a real person. Okay. So I left it pinned, but it's like at that point, you could have responded and been a human being, but instead you decided to be an asshole because then you realized I was a real person and then I became your competition. Fuck you. Like, why is that a problem?
That's what it was?
Yes. Because 2 of her subs followed me.
Really? That's weird. That's weird. She sounds weird.
She is weird. That's why I blocked her. Because, like, all I wanted was in. Like, I wasn't going to do any weird shit or, like, market myself or anything like that. I just wanted to see what people were talking about. That's all.
Yeah.
Like, that's what she was offering, so I was agreeing. And then she didn't want to offer.
Have you started looking at or following the sex workers blacklist yet?
No. What is this?
You should. It's exactly what it sounds like.
Is this online? Like, is that like .com or what?
I think, well, I follow them on Twitter, but, you know, there's websites and stuff for it.
Oh. You have to, okay.
Oh, yeah.
So, this is where
also
you put
another
what?
one.
The naughty ones? Or what is this for?
Yeah, this is clients and possibly other workers that are blacklisted by other sex workers and why.
Oh. Do they post like photos or like what are they allowed to post content wise?
They can post, you can add their phone numbers, their names, pictures, whatever you have. If they've done something fucked up, you know about it.
Yeah. So
That's good.
definitely.
If you know where to find it. That's why I was curious, because I'd never heard of that.
Well, that's the thing. You have to because sex workers are really ostracized by society. We have to make our own resources, and luckily, a lot of people have.
So it's like a digging. Like, I'm digging for gold. Like, I could just be at this for a while. Because, like, I had a really good thing going, and then when my Instagram went down, that fucked that up for me. And now I'm starting all the fuck over. Which, not all of that is bad, honestly, because there were a lot of people that were following me or that I was following I didn't want to, and it's taken forever to unfollow them.
Yeah.
But that said, like, it's like I don't even exist.
You should also follow Swarm on Twitter as well, if that's your cup of tea. Swarm is a sex worker advocacy and resistance movement. They are a group that is actively fighting criminalization for sex workers and providing support for sex workers and keeping the information out there. It is an advocacy group.
That's cool.
Yeah, it's very cool. They're awesome, and it is sex worker led as well. It's not like
it's not just a bunch of people that know about it and are in it.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's like I said earlier. Like, the resources have to be created by us because no one else will do it.
They don't care. It's like you said. They just don't look at us. They don't look at us people.
Yeah, they don't. But I don't look at them as people. So fuck them.
Yeah, so like generally I feel like you guys should prep yourselves for still laughing at shit. We're still gonna be inappropriate. I mean, we can't help it. But I mean, I don't think we're gonna be all out content aggressive like we were before, because now the content is BDSM.
It's a bit more in depth than we were before.
Yeah.
It has to be, really, because as your life changes, your show changes, doesn't it?
Yeah.
But we will still give you, you can still come to us for vanilla relationship advice as well. I mean, you're not going to be like, okay, if you're not into this, then no, you are welcome here.
Yeah.
If you're just curious, if you just find it entertaining, if you find it funny, if you find it weird, fucking, you're welcome. You're welcome here.
Yeah. And we love you. Because, we love this show, but it needs to evolve with us. And we were both getting into one industry, two very different facets, but one industry where it was going to be a very big focus. So to ignore it would be like to hide a big part of ourselves from y'all, and that didn't seem right.
Absolutely. Not to mention, like, just the amount of other shit that's going on behind the scenes, getting all of this stuff set up is...
True.
Whew.
Yeah, it really is an undertaking. And so all of you guys have to check the show notes for this episode. You have to, because I'm going to put a bunch of new shit in there because all the old shit probably doesn't apply anymore. I'm probably shutting down our Facebook.
Our Facebook, Facebook is fucking dead anyway. The only reason to have it these days is to stay.
You, Mark. Like I told you this was coming, you little bitch. I can't wait to sell clips of me telling people how fucking how I think. But yeah, I really think that's a legit way of making money. I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna talk shit, and I'm gonna get paid for it as usual. Other than that, is there anything you need to plug before we sign off for our very new season?
Not yet, but more info coming as things are set up.
Okay, well, this is something important. If you give a shit about our show, could you please write us and let us know that you're still listening? I am questioning where our feeds are popping up, so that's one reason. The other reason is we give a shit. We'd like to hear from you, and if we do hear from you, we'll read it on the show. We're
Absolutely.
Also putting out a poll. You want to tell them about the poll?
Yeah. Well, because of the new focus, even though we're still massive stoners and still going to be smoking throughout the show, if you think that strain of the week should stay, I want you to vote. If you think that Strain of the Week should go as the show is changing, then I want you to vote. Where can they find that poll?
They can find it at Shade Queen 2019 on Instagram and on Twitter. Dark Shade Queen and the number 1. I'll post it in the show notes. And the easiest way for them to vote will be on Twitter.
Yeah. Twitter knows how to do a poll.
Yeah, they do. It's really easy. And you can retweet it if you're like, fuck it, I don't want to just vote for myself. I want these strangers to also vote. We don't care if they've heard the show that much. I mean, really, we just want to know if they still like hearing about weed. If the answer is yes, you will. Okay?
Yes, exactly.
Otherwise, we're just going to smoke in peace. And then Legion After Dark, very important for you guys to download that shit. It's a great show. I am so impressed with it. And she's just gotten her mic back. So magic is about to happen.
I know. It has been a massive gap in shows since all the shit went down with my apartment and getting evicted and all of that stuff. But I'm going to record episode 6 tomorrow. And I should have that out by the weekend, hopefully. And we should be back up and running as per our usual scheduling.
Yay! Happy 2019, everybody. Like, welcome.
Right. This is going to be a good year.
Yeah, new season 2, Daddy Issues. You've made it. We've made it. Welcome, bitches. Thank you for joining us on Daddy Issues, brought to you by the dirty minds of the Damaged Goods Network. Don't forget to tip the ladies at paypal.me/tiptheladies. Find more guilty pleasures and our dirty secrets at damagedgoodsinc.com. Click, play, obsess.